What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Combat Corporation, your source of combat sports. I'm your host, Al, the Postmaster Tomorrow, and today I have a gear review on the Yokkao Professional MMA Sparring Gloves. Alright folks, as always, I'm incredibly excited to bring you yet another gear review, as today I have the new Yokkao Professional MMA Sparring Gloves. And you might have seen me unbox these on my YouTube shorts. I was really excited to do these because a lot of people were curious about these gloves. Yokkao had MMA gloves on their website for a while, but they were always out of stock. These just want to roll everywhere. But they were always out of stock and I could never get them. But then I saw that they signed Bellator middleweight champion Johnny Evelyn as their first professional mixed martial artist. And Yokkao is one of the most famous Muay Thai brands out there, sponsoring some of your favorite fighters like Superlek, who just fought and beat Takuro Sagawa, which was a great fight. They also have Liam Harrison, and then of course the GOAT of Muay Thai, most people will call him Saenchai. They also sponsor Bukkao as well, which is really cool. So Yokkao is one of the bigger brands on the planet. A lot of people know them for their Muay Thai equipment and also for this seminar series, especially here in the United States. Yokkao tours all over the country from different parts of the United States. They're in different parts every single week, which is great. You actually saw Stephen Wonderboy Thompson using Yokkao equipment to his lead up with Shavkat Rakhmonov, because he actually hosted a Saenchai seminar at his gym, which is really cool to see. Not Yokkao sparring, but Saenchai spar Stephen Thompson. But I was really excited to get these gloves, especially because Johnny Evelyn himself, when I responded to his story, actually got back to me and no joke said their MMA equipment's no joke. And that was about that. And I thought that was pretty cool. I just said, hey man, great fan, and I can't wait to try them. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into the review of these gloves, starting out with the exact model that I have. I got them in the only color that I found available on their website, though I did see, I believe it was Trayshawn Gore, actually have a type of flame design here, but they come in black with the 2 stars here, and you can get these in 2 different sizes. You can get them in small/medium and L/XL, which a lot of different gloves are doing nowadays, primarily just probably to save on inventory, and overall it's just easier, because basically it's kind of like saying one size fits most or one size fits all. That's basically what you got going on here. The L/XL fits my hand just fine. So overall you got 2 different sizes to pick from, 1 color to pick from. I imagine they'll probably make some adjustments to this glove and then release more colors. That way, you know, people can probably buy their favorite color afterwards. Yokkao is also very known for some really cool designs, like I showed in my previous review of the Yeti. So I mean, if they had the Yeti version of this, I'd buy it. I'd probably buy a second pair. I'm not even gonna lie to you, you know, because, you know, I am a spitting resemblance. I am a Yeti too. But anyway, going into the look of the glove, like I said, you have an entirely black glove here, and it's a very shiny metallic black, not metallic, I'm sorry, shiny reflective black, I should say. As you can see, the vinyl really shines. On the back of here, you can see it says Yokkao on the back in white. In the back, you can see the 2 stars there that Yokkao has with a lot of their stuff. And then on top of it, the wrist strap also has Yokkao going throughout here on a black background, but that's in white lettering. Now, when we come around to the piping of the glove, it is all actually black as well. The interior lining is black, although the light makes it look a little bit of a different color, but it's a black tricot material. You can also see that the fingertips are also that black material. And then when you open the glove, you can see that we have a black wrist strap, black Velcro, which is what you're usually going to get. It is a pain to get this thing through, but I will get it through as best as I can. So I can show you this part here on the inside. There we go. And that is the tag here, which says Yokkao here. It's a Yokkao Tiger. And it says handmade in Thailand. And I think the other side says something like LSS XL made of synthetic leather or something along those lines is what you got there with the Yokkao tag. So that's basically the look of the glove. It is incredibly basic looking. It is basically a solid black glove with the brand on it, which a lot of brands will do. I like that because it's very easy to maintain and clean. Black hides dirt very easily, so that's always good. So now when we come to the build of the glove, we're going to talk about the outer shell being made of what they call, once again, kind of like a synthetic leather. And the easiest way to word it, the synthetic leather, it feels pretty durable compared to some other synthetic leathers out there. It's a very stretchy synthetic leather, which I always like when it comes to MMA sparring gloves or MMA gloves in general, because when you grapple, when you roll, this is going to happen a lot. You're going to grind on the mat, grind on someone's face, you're going to touch and twist, and you don't want the vinyl to just rip and twist off. If I had to compare it to a specific glove, I'd say that the vinyl is virtually identical to the Fairtex FGV 18 sparring glove that I reviewed, but I will say the FGV 18 feels a little bit more grippier compared to this being much more smooth. So it's a very smooth vinyl, and you have that throughout the entirety of the glove except for the Velcro and the interior lining and the stitching, obviously, but you got the same exact type of vinyl that's going throughout the thumb piping here, the finger pipings here, the piping on the wrist strap is also that vinyl in the entirety of the wrist strap except for the cloth patch here. This is Yokkao, is also in that vinyl. So overall, just like a lot of other MMA gloves out there, they use a vinyl. Now, when we talk about the padding on the inside of the glove here, it is a thick, multi-layered foam padding that you got going on here. And when I say thick, I mean this thing is just about as thick as the Venom Challenger that I reviewed. It is a very thick glove, and dense as all hell too. It is like eating a complete pound cake, I guess is the easiest way to word that. It is a very thick glove that very much emphasizes on protecting your knuckles, and it does do a good job of protecting your knuckles. I will give it that much. It does do a very good job of that. So overall, very thick padding, and you also have nice padding on the back of the wrist here that feels very similar to the open cell foam that's up top here, and it's not as stiff as some other gloves out there. And what this does is it wraps around the back of your wrist very easily, so that also prevents not only your wrist bones from breaking, but the top of your hand right here, that being your metacarpals and tarsals in that area, that tend to pop up like that. So to prevent that, they have that little wrist bar there to add a little bit more compression and to stop your bones from popping up like that and keeping them in place. So overall, you got really good back of the hand protection with the knuckles. You can also see, like a lot of other gloves out there now, they use that door hinge style knuckle. That way you can open and close very easily. You can grab very easily because of that open and close. It doesn't make one thing harder than the other, basically. It allows complete mobility of your hand. The thumb also has the same type of soft padding that you get in the back of the hand here, right there. So in case you're throwing a casting punch like this, you might hit your thumb there. It's going to give it a nice solid piece of protection there, which is always good. And then on top of it, the thumb wraps around entirely. So it's a really big thumb, and actually my thumb barely even pops out when I put it on. You'll see in a second. And the thumb loop here is actually pretty good as far as the thumb loop goes. It keeps your thumb in a really nice spot. Now the finger inlets on this glove, to be honest, I am not a fan of in general. They're very stiff, even for a vinyl, and on top of it, they're short and they're uniform basically in size, and that the pinkies is the same size as the pointer finger, middle finger, and the ring finger, and that makes it very difficult for your pinky to kind of pop through, which once again you'll see in a second when I put these gloves on. But the fingers are not very independent at all, although I think they tried to make them. They feel like they are all completely uniform as far as their build and the design, and they just basically copy and pasted it throughout the rest of the glove. So in general, the fingers is very difficult, and the grip bar down here is so fat that creating a really good grip is really frustrating and annoying in general. So the fingers, in general, I don't like the design of the fingers at all, to be honest. But when we talk about going down to the wrist strap, this is where the glove shines, and it definitely tells you that Strikers made these gloves. And like a lot of other gloves out there, you can see that we have that buckle here that you can pull this all the way through. I'll see if I can, because it is so difficult to get it through. And I honestly don't know if I'm going to be able to entirely, but I'm working really hard for you guys. Let's see. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, we're almost there. See what I mean? Like, I'm trying to just show you how long the wrist strap is, and it's making it so complicated. And this is just proof that this part of the glove was not thought through all the way. There we go. Very long wrist strap here. which wraps around very well, and I'm not going to spend the time to shove this thing back through because that was painful. And it's like that every time you do that. But you got your metal buckle here, and you can feel the metal actually going through there. I wish people would just get rid of that because I don't think that the metal honestly helps the glove at all. I think if you just made it the cloth, it would actually stretch over the wrist much easier. I don't know why they put the metal buckle in. Maybe just secure the flap a bit more, but hey, it's completely secure. Now that the glove's wide open, you can see that it does open wide if you need it to, although it opens wide enough without taking the strap out. A very long wrist strap. The Velcro is very strong, and as you can see, the interior lining is a tri-cot material. Now, the only difference I'd say between this type of tri-cot material and like the tri-cot material that you would get with like the Combat Sports Max Strike is that it's very open, like the holes are very wide on these, and it's actually kind of rough on the back of your hand. So I definitely recommend, if you're one of the people that don't wear hand wraps when you do things, and I know plenty of MMA fighters that do that, I would put hand wraps on or look at a different glove because it is not comfortable on the back of your hands. And even when you wear hand wraps, the grips alone without the wraps on are a pain, and on top of it, the tips of your fingers get roughed up pretty easily. I think the only thing about this is that because Yokkao is made in Thailand, it's a very hot and humid country, they want it to air out very well. But in my opinion, it's not as prevalent here in the States. Maybe if you lived in like Florida or California where it's very hot, warm, and humid there, especially Florida, you know, Georgia, states like that down there would definitely help you there, and especially if you left it in your bag overnight, it might help it breathe a little bit. But I don't like the feeling of the tri-cot. It's a little rough on the back of my hand, even when I wear hand wraps, and on top of it, putting hand wraps in this glove is a pain. Now let's put this glove here so I could put on the left glove normally, since I'm not trying to shove that wrist strap in. That takes way too long. But when we come here, I put my hand in, and it does slide in relatively easy, but right off the bat, it's just not comfortable. It is the most bulkiest MMA glove I've ever used, and I mean, just look how that wrist strap stacks on top of the back of my wrist. Yes, my wrist is very protected, which feels good, and it also has padding here, as you can see on the side, which helps you with hammer fists, similar to our Isami gloves up here, if I can even get a grip of them. Kind of like that, with a sidebar there for hammer fists and stuff, which I think is very smart. But that's basically what you have here. You got a little bit of that padding there, helps with hammer fists, which I think was a good design. But the only thing is, look how my pinky's barely coming out. And that might just be an anatomical thing that I'm doing here. But at the end of the day, it just sucks because I have to push this all the way through before I can even get a halfway decent grip. But now it's just uncomfortable. The rule is usually you take 2 fingers and you put them in to get a solid piece of padding in on your knuckles, which I can do, and you can wrap your hands up, but watch, I'm closing my fist, look where my pinky goes. It's not even down all the way, so it makes an unnatural fist for me, because although my hands are large as far as like width and girth goes, but my fingers are not very long, so they don't pop through. Overall though, like the grips in these is uncomfortable. I feel like I have to really struggle to open and close my hands. I will say that obviously the knuckle padding, I mean, look how thick it is very good. You're not feeling anything when you punch these. You can hit bags and pads with these and not feel anything. So if you like a puncher's feel, you ain't getting it with these gloves. But they will protect your knuckles. But for me, they're very similar to that Venom Challenger, but I think they're even performed less than that. I think the Venom Challengers at least have better grips than these. And in general, making grips is not easy with these. The gable grips are okay, but even then, the glove is so fat that sometimes the padding gets in the way. It gets in the way here. S-grips is impossible with these. As you can see how fat that is, it would just lock. You stop here when you try and do that. And getting wrist grips of like grabbing your own wrist is virtually impossible too because of how big this wrist strap is. I mean, that's a good, I'd say, ½ an inch off my wrist here. As you can see, it's big compared to a lot of other ones that kind of lay flat onto the glove itself. And I think it's because they probably should have used maybe a shorter wrist strap in this case and made it a little bit wider. That way it would lay flat on the rest of the glove. At least that would be a winning quality. The other thing that I'm feeling already is that my pinky and my ring finger is already kind of falling asleep in this glove. So I was not a fan of that in general. So overall, the glove is uncomfortable for me. I think it's made out of good materials, and I think overall the knuckle protection and wrist support is dead on, but grappling is virtually impossible in these, and on top of it, they are uncomfortable. But with that said, let's go ahead and go into the bag work so you can see these gloves in action. So when it comes to hitting the bags with the Yokkao MMA Sparring gloves, they feel good as far as protecting your knuckles. But you can see I'm kind of looping my punches a little bit different because with these gloves, like I said, the closing of your fist is just uncomfortable. And my pinky always feels cramped. They got decent grips, but because of how thick the padding is, it just feels unnatural to keep opening and closing, and the finger compartments are so tight around your fingers, and it's just uncomfortable. Good knuckle protection, great wrist support. You could definitely hit hard in sparring with these, but they're all right. Alright, so when it comes to the look of these gloves, I do like that you have that solid black and stars. It does look cool, but you can even see my pinkies, how they barely go through the finger loop. And I think they should have made that shorter, either that or it's just my anatomy, because the grips, as you can see, are not that great, and the gloves are so thick that getting grips around the wrist is hard. Underneath for underhooks sucks, and then underneath the neck or pummeling in general just isn't that good. They look stylish, and you can definitely like appreciate the basic black with the white design as well. Black and white goes good with everything in my opinion. But at the end of the day, they look cool, but the functionality of the glove as far as grappler goes, horrible decision if you're a grappler, but they look great. Alright folks, my final verdict for the Yokkao Professional MMA Sparring Gloves is, regardless of one of my favorite fighters and Johnny Eblin telling me that these are great gloves, I disagree. I really do not like these gloves, and I did not enjoy using them too much, and my hands are actually still asleep literally from just making a fist for you during this video. Virtually every use of these gloves has been uncomfortable. I will say that I do like punching the bags and pads with these, and sparring in these is very safe, but I constantly have to readjust the gloves because my fingers are maybe just too short for these. They cramp my hands. I mean, when I ball my fist, my fingers literally go like this. My pinky and my ring finger go out like this, which is just asking to break my hand. The tricot material on the inside is just very rough on the back of my hands. Even if I wear hand wraps, it's rough on the back of my hands, and it's actually rough on my hand wraps too, wearing away some of the fabric there. And then on top of it, the tips of my fingers get roughed up pretty well. If you are a grappler and you like wrestling, or if you like jiu-jitsu and you like punching underhooks, or you like getting necks and stuff like that, kiss that goodbye, because they are very fat and bulky, and they're just about as fat and bulky as, say, like the Venom Challengers that I have up here. I'd say they're just about as fat and bulky, if not, I'd say that at least the Venom Challenger is a little bit softer, so you're able to move a little bit better. But at the end of the day, the grips in these gloves are not that good. They are good for like sparring as far as MMA goes, but honestly, I'd give these to like someone that's doing like one champion style Muay Thai small glove fights, you know, so they can have a Muay Thai small glove MMA glove, you know, to spar in. That would be about it, you know, because you can get at least decent clinch work done. But at the end of the day, for me, I wasn't able to. And as I mentioned earlier, it might just be one of those cases where anatomically I just don't gel with the glove, in that my hands are just not built for a glove like this. They might have been built specifically for Johnny Eblin, and Johnny Eblin might have weird hands compared to mine, and I might just have weird hands in general that don't work for this glove. It happens all the time with other different models out there for different people, and I don't see why that couldn't be happening here. But for me, overall, the glove is so bulky, it is uncomfortable, I don't like it that much, and my hand has fallen asleep every single time I've worn these gloves. The other thing about the bulkiness too, like if you like grappling, like I said earlier, is look how big the wrist strap just comes off. Your hand goes in right here, then you have the regular top of the glove, and then the rest of it is literally another ½ an inch stacked on top of it. So getting anything like an underhook going underneath the armpit, especially if your armpit's closed, to have fun, you basically have to you have to punch the shoulder back. Usually you would anyway, but even watch, my chin's all the way up in the air as far as I can get anyway, and you go here, right? And you can see it's literally getting caught at the top of my chin. It's touching my beard right here. It's going across there. Even if I do it this way, the top is touching my beard more than this way, which is absolutely crazy. So as far as the overall like grappling aspect of this glove is not good. It's good for striking, but even then, making a natural fist in this glove sucks for me. The other thing I will say is, as far as positives go, I'll switch to positives about this glove, is that I will say that overall, I do like punching in these when I'm able to close my fists and not have to readjust all the time. They have great knuckle protection. They have great wrist support. They have good thumb protection. They have good side of the hand protection because of the bar that's going on here. But it's really hard to highlight those things when I can't use them comfortably because excuse me, excuse me, really excuse me. But anyway, inside joke, that's my bad. They're protective to sparring as well. They're very good for that. They're padded enough to do that. But for me, it's just basically a boxing glove that took away the palm. It's just big, bulky. It's not comfortable. And it has great qualities, and I think if Yokkao put their expertise that they have with their Muay Thai gloves, which I absolutely love, they make great shin guards, they make great Muay Thai gloves, excellent pads. I don't know what went wrong here, or once again, if it's just a fact of me not anatomically gelling with the glove, and that could be happening. So with that said, guys, I've had these really only for a month and a half to 2 months now, and usually I like to get my stuff and use it a lot more than that, but I've broken them in. I've used them as much as I really can. I can't stop my training sessions anymore and just change into a more comfortable glove now, because that would just waste my time and waste everyone else's time. So therefore, I'm giving them one of the lowest scores I've ever had here on the channel. I'm giving these gloves a 4 out of 10 for $109. I can think of $30 gloves I would rather buy, or even $60 gloves, and I can literally look to my left. I'd rather have the Sandable Essential, Sandable Cores, even the Funk Strikes. I like the Fairtex FGV 15s and 18s better, the Engage E-Series, the Rev Gear Pinnacles, all those different gloves I like a lot more than these. So like I said, I give these a 4 out of 10 D tier. And D tier means poor, basically, and that's the system. I'm going to eventually release a whole catalog of all my gloves and give you the rating system and stuff, explain what makes it that way, and give it like the scores above all. But when it comes to these gloves, I just really didn't enjoy liking them, and these are one of the few occurrences where I might actually sell them to someone. But with that said, I am a collector. I bought them with my own money. I love my collection. One day I will have the largest collection of gloves known to man, and that is my goal. So I gotta win the lottery so I can buy them all, and I'll be happy, and then I can just sit here and review gloves every single day for you guys. I was just happy I was able to sit in front of the camera and review today. I've been so busy lately getting ready for my fight. I'm excited for it, but that's a different story for another day. Just keep an eye out. February 23rd, CES MMA, one of the biggest promotions in New England on UFC Fight Pass. But with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm sorry if it came off so like short and harsh when it came to these gloves, but a lot of people were curious on them, and I've actually responded to comments saying, they're like, oh, well, do you like these or those better? And my first answer, like right off the bat, was I'll save you the time of waiting for a review of mine. Get the other gloves. I don't like these so far, and I just really don't, and it sucks because I wanted to use them. I wanted to like them a lot, but I just didn't. But as always, guys, comment below if you thought I missed anything, or what you want me to review next, or if you think I judged it unharshly. Of course, always let me know in the comments below. You can also message me on my social media pages, whether it be Instagram, X, TikTok, Facebook. I usually try and get back to you within at least a week if I can. Sometimes it marks you guys down as spam, so I can't respond immediately. I just did like a mass response of 30 people, all marked as spam for some reason, and I hope I fixed that problem. With that said, too, always like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, because it might be a little poke of your finger on your phone or a click on your mouse for your computer. I appreciate it because it goes a long way to help the channel, and we're almost at 8,000 subscribers, which blows my mind, everybody. But guys, as always, this would not be happening without you, and I always encourage you to reach out in any way you can. You can even email me, as that is listed on the YouTube's page as well. With that said, everybody, thank you so much for watching this episode and this gear review, and I can't wait to see you next time. Thanks for choosing your source of combat sports. I've been your host, Al the Postmaster Morrow, and as always, I'll see you on the next episode. Have a great day, everybody.